football would never ever leave my hand. And it's subhanAllah, almost like a religion. When you're young and you're raw, you don't know anything else, anything better. So for me, my whole life was football, ever since I was a young kid, and developed so much love for this game. My parents weren't very supportive. I know I'm elaborating a little bit more, so tell me when to stop if you need me to stop, but they might cut through a few of those questions. But my parents were very supportive of sport. They didn't want us as their children not to play sport at all. And what was the reason? When I soon found out a little bit later after I started playing sport, it was because they felt like sport would drive us away from education. Now you think about it, my parents came to this country to give us the best education possible, okay? And they felt like sport would deviate us, would push us away from education. And subhanAllah, that's why they were so against sport. But I came to a promise with them, or made a promise with them, that allow me to play sport, please allow me to play sport, and I'll promise you I'll do well at school. It was like this kind of contract. I had to negotiate my way through just for me to play sport. Alhamdulillah, they finally agreed. And they didn't agree based on my words. They agreed on my older brother being there. He was 10 years older than me and supported me through it. And said that enough's enough. You weren't supportive of us as, older brothers and playing sport. Let him play. Let him be. They weren't obviously fully accepting of it, but they said, Khalas, it's an agreement. You promise us the moment your grades go down, see you later, bye-bye football. And alhamdulillah, they would maintain that to Year 12, finished Year 12, and went on from there. So that's a very quick snapshot of my childhood and my involvement in football.
So when you started playing, who were your role models in the sports?
So being a Carlton supporter, you kids won't understand this because you're probably too young, but Anthony Koutafidis was, I guess, the person that I used to look up to as an athlete, that would be. I love the way he played the game, and I supported Carlton, and he was the big thing. When the crowd, the commentators would shout at Kouta, the whole stadium would erupt. So Anthony Koutafidis was a big name back in the 90s, and he was someone that obviously shook the game. He's probably equivalent to the current, I wouldn't say Dustin Martin because he's on the back end of his career, but probably in the peak of his career, Dustin Martin. Dustin Martin was a big player. Buddy Franklin, Lance Franklin, in the peak of his career, that's the Koutafidis that I used to obviously look up to as a player.
So, about your sporting life, when did you first start to realise that you could actually become a footy player and develop into your career?
Yeah, so being a junior, a young 12, 13-year-old, you just play sport. You enjoy to go and you get involved and you play. You don't think about future, being young. If you thought about a future and a career at the age of 11, 12, then mashallah, you're in the right mindset. But for me, it was just about playing football, having fun, kicking in as many goals, touching the ball as many as possible, winning best and fairest, things like that. So I just enjoyed playing football, subhanAllah. And then for me, the turning point, I guess the point where I wanted, when I took it to the next level and I thought to myself, what, if I keep going down this track, I might make a career out of myself. My dream was always to play AFL. You envy that. You watch, you go play, you watch the games live on TV, you go watch the games in real life, and you hear the roar and you hear the atmosphere, and it's something that you dream of being. So ages of 14, 15, that was the time. And that's when things started to become a little bit serious for me once I chose that career.
So if it wasn't football, what would you rather have been?
So I think I'd probably continue my studies in the sporting industry, whether it was sports management, whether it was a PE teacher. I did go to university for one semester and then deferred it for life. But my intention was, because I finished Year 12 and then I had one whole year at university, and then the following year I got drafted. So I went to university, started, got into a course, was doing very well, actually got high distinction. It helped when my teacher gave me the actual exam and said, go study this. I didn't know later on it was actually the exam. So I didn't know, it wasn't cheating because he gave it to me. And I studied that and I aced it. So alhamdulillah, I was obviously studying at university, but I decided to defer the second part of the year just to focus and to hone in on my, you know, my fitness and my football development and give myself every opportunity to get drafted. So, alhamdulillah, that happened the following year. So, I probably would have continued at university, probably got a degree and continued life from there. So, you know, there's a saying, you don't put all your eggs in one basket. I trained really hard. My aim was to make it to the AFL, and if it didn't happen, plan B was there, and that is to go to university and continue my studies.
Inshallah. And how did your faith impact your, you know, upbringing? You know, was Islam as prevalent as it is now?
Yeah, look, Islam in my household wasn't huge, to be honest. Alhamdulillah, my parents prayed, they fasted, they done the basics pretty well. But the enforcing Islam on us wasn't a major factor. My parents were very culturally driven. You know, we'd go to the masjid, Ramadan, Isha, we'd do all those sort of things. But where I gained love for my deen was the fact that I was lucky enough or privileged and honoured enough to go and study in Islamic school. My older siblings didn't study in Islamic school. In fact, they studied that in Catholic school. They went to a Catholic school. They didn't obviously study the deen, that religion there, but they went to a normal public system, private system schools, non-Islamic schools. Where that changed was when they put myself and my younger brother in grade 6, they put us in the Islamic school at Taqwa College, which is in Werribee. And that's where I gained love and passion for Islam. SubhanAllah, you know, the fact that you were able to pray Dhuhr together, you have Islamic studies. I think that's what inspired me to take my deen to another level, SubhanAllah. So, you know, and that's why I'm a big advocate that if you have the opportunity to take your son or daughter to an Islamic school, even though the education system might not be the best, but the fact that your son and daughter is around an Islamic environment, it's what helped me. Wallahi, it's what helped me. We weren't perfect human beings, but the fact that we were grounded, there was laws above